0, 10, mark. 9, start ignition. Flame burned, engines armed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engines running. Launch commit. Hold up. Roger, clock. That's okay, flight. All engines. Clock start, flight. Roger, clock. Hold out.
1961 is when the first Saturn was launched. I joined Teledyne Brown in 1962. I'm the program manager on the MSRR, Material Science Research Rack, that's being just recently flown up to the space station. In 1962, I was in conjunction with Marshall out here on support contract. We were designing the Saturn I and Saturn V launch vehicles. I was in the systems design group. We did structures, systems, all the various parts of the rocket and stuff like that, and put them all together into a final vehicle very similar to this Saturn V that's up here. It's like grouping a whole series of engines together on one rocket had not been done before. So it was a real good learning process. Most of the guys that were in charge were the rocket scientists that had come over as a part of the von Braun team. And in fact, I worked with a couple of the sons who actually worked for Brown Engineering at that time. This was Brown Engineering back in those days. Milton Cummings, he was the president at that time. And then Joe Moquin eventually came right in after Cummings retired. I remember that was one of the things when I was working out there originally with Chrysler. He used to come out and visit with the Brown Engineering people in those days were out there, and I said that was something rather interesting to me, that the president of the company would come out to visit personally with people that I said, you know, they're on the low end of the totem pole, asking what they needed, follow up with it and everything like that. And I said that was one of the things that very much impressed me with the company in those days. You had a goal. I think, as President Kennedy said, we're going to the moon in this decade. So you knew what the goal was, you knew what you had to do. The people that were leading, they knew where they were going, said, hey, we've got a date out there to do something. And that's the way we did it. You sit there and say, are we really going to do this? But yes, I don't think anybody ever said, hey, this is not feasible. The basics of the rocket were relatively simple. But it was just the massive size and things like that, making sure everything came together, everything worked. That's where the real challenge was. You feel accomplishment when you see things you design, see them actually work. Oh, it's just a feeling you get, say, hey, I put a little bit into that thing. It was really awe-inspiring to see it go up. The Ares 1X actually is supposed to be launched on the same day that we flew the first launch of the Saturn I back in 1961. You know, it's essentially just a derivation of what we have here with the Saturn. It's, as I like to describe, it's a big tank with engines on the bottom of it. In the case of the Saturn, we used essentially kerosene and liquid oxygen for the first stage. Ares uses liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, but that's the same propellant that was used on the upper stages. It's essentially the same diameter, so I think 33 feet, so I believe it's about the same diameter as this particular stage here, and about the same height. And the upper stage engines are derivations of the J2, which was used on the second and third stages on the Saturn V. Being in a space program back in those days was a lot of fun. You learned something every day. Doing things you'd never done before.
It's one small step for man,